Why has life in the West become so meaningless? Yes, now, as always, there is more than one answer to every question. We know this. However, sometimes if we can pull back a little bit and see the bigger picture, then many of those answers that we have are simply excuses. They are not real answers. So for this question, I'm going to try and go straight to the bigger picture. For hundreds of thousands of years, the meaning of life was survival. Suddenly, this era is coming to an end, and we are entering a different era in both human evolution and, I was going to say, human history, but our history is very different from what we think it is or what we have been told it is, but that's another video. And at the moment, at this stage of our calendar, we are in the transition period, transitioning from one era to the next. And we simply don't know what's going to happen. Most of us don't even know this is happening. So the meaning that we had up to now, or up to a few decades ago, for life is suddenly disappearing, simply because in the majority of cases we have already figured out survival. We were already born in affluence. Most of us were born after the invention of the supermarket, where we can go to the supermarket and whatever we want or whatever we need is there. For hundreds of thousands of years, it was not like this. And this is the biggest reason our lives had meaning, because they did. We needed to survive. That was the meaning of life. And now, this is no longer the meaning of life. And we are exactly like a teenager right now, going into adulthood, but feeling confused, feeling empty, feeling neglected, feeling rejected, feeling stupid, feeling all the things that a teenager is feeling while it is transitioning from childhood to adulthood. The same thing is happening to our society. It's actually happening all over the world, not just the West, but it's just because the majority of the West has been richer for longer, we got there first. As for most of the East, is still shopping. As for many of us in the West, have come to the point where we know that even shopping doesn't fulfill me anymore. Or the fulfillment is very temporary. It lasts a few hours. But I want more. This is why life has become meaningless. We simply need to understand our world is changing. Most people don't want to understand this because we have worked so hard to catch up and to try and figure it out. And now all of a sudden you're telling me it's changing. So then why did I work so hard for? This is why it's not that people are necessarily stupid and they don't want to understand that we are in a transition and that the world is changing and that our life is going to change. It's like They don't want all those years of trying to figure it out go to waste. And all those sacrifices that they made. But unfortunately or fortunately, it's happening. Survival is no longer an issue, nor will it be from now on in human evolution, in Earth human evolution. So if you feel like your life is meaningless, stop blaming technology, stop blaming money, stop blaming the governments, stop blaming society. It has nothing to do with any of these things. I've heard people say technology has gotten the young kids to not even pay any attention to their parents. Yes. But it's not really technology. It's that these young kids have come for something completely different. But because they cannot see it yet, they cannot, as we say, put the finger on it. They don't know exactly what it is, so they don't know what to focus on. And one thing they have not come for is their parents. And parents cannot accept this. So they find excuses like, I'm always at work, or I have to work hard to provide for my children so they can have everything. You know what? Cut that bullshit out, because you should not have had children in the first place. Now, back to the question. Okay, let me phrase it differently. All our institutions are actually based for survival, or based on survival, on the concept of survival, so that we can survive. Whether it's the governments, whether it is the banks, whether it is family, marriage, all these things we came up with in order to survive. Survival was not easy up to only a few decades ago. Now that survival will no longer be the name of the game, all these institutions will collapse. The institution of marriage, the institution of family, and the institution of government. And we think there is something wrong with us, and this is why we are not getting married, or this is why marriage does not last, and we find these retarded excuses like, now we have so many choices, so as soon as something does not go right in the marriage, we choose something else. Yes, what, you want people not to be happy? Think about this when you make this retarded phrase. Do you prefer people to not be happy so that your stupid, retarded marriage can last? Your miserable marriage. You would prefer someone not being happy so that you can be married. Think about it. How could you possibly make a statement like this and be able to live with yourself after this? Yes, stay in marriages. It doesn't matter if you're unhappy. No, the marriage comes first. Yes, in the fucking caves. But I don't know if you noticed, we have come out of the caves now. So no, the marriage does not come first. Neither does the family. We no longer need this institution called family. If you want to have one, by all means, go ahead. But when it starts cracking at the seams, don't find things outside of the family to blame. I heard a very good one the other day. Her husband left her after 15 years. There was probably nothing wrong with her. but he moved on. And she blamed the corporate world. Literally said that the corporate world has a lot to answer for, because they persuade you to go for drinks after work, and they persuade you that extramarital affairs are okay. So she's blaming the corporate world for the end of her marriage. There is no way. And you know what? She was a doctor. She's an intelligent woman. But there is no way you can explain to this woman that he didn't leave you. He simply moved on. He learned the lessons that his soul wanted to learn from this, and he moved on. That's all. We don't have to see it as someone is leaving us. See it as he or she is moving on. He or she got what they needed to get from us, and they are moving on. Now you will say, you can't just leave once you get what you get. Okay, so next time you go to the supermarket, after you have gotten what you need, don't leave, just stay there. Next time you go to the doctor, after the doctor has given you what he wanted to give you, he or she, don't leave, just stay there. Next time you go to school, when you are finished with your lessons, don't leave, just stay there. Because you cannot leave after you get what you want. This is what you are saying. Again, you are making absolutely no sense. Again, I'm going to call you retarded. You never think before you speak. There is no logic in your words whatsoever. And this particular woman, like many others, are going to get old miserably and die miserably. Why? Because the corporate world owes them an apology for taking away their husbands. Because you know their husbands had absolutely no brains. The corporate world told them what to do. So think. There won't be a single marriage on the face of the planet that will survive the transition. There is nothing wrong with marriage. Simply, it was created for another time. For a time when we needed to survive. Now we do not need this anymore. Very soon we're going to have 12-year-old children finding jobs that pay hundreds of thousands a year because of their intellect. Do you really think, let me put it this way. Let's say we woke up tomorrow morning and every single individual over the age of, let's say, 14, 15 had $1 million in their bank account. Every single one. How many hours after this do you think your family will remain a family? Think for a moment. It doesn't hurt. Think. Family and marriage is based on survival. We have simply gone beyond survival. Well, actually, we're going beyond survival. And they are now breaking up because they are simply no longer needed. Even the word family will disappear. But we'll use the word family so I can give an example. The new family in the new era will be friends. That's all, just friends. So, this is why life in the West is becoming or has become meaningless. Now, if you know what is going on, it won't be meaningless. if you know that this is happening because you are in a transition, it will be, I don't want to say it will be okay. Okay, I'll give you a personal example. For the past 3 years, I have not really done much with my life. And sometimes I think, did I just settle and stopped learning? And then the inner voice says, no, we are transitioning. You just have to wait now. And then I feel better again. So if we can truly understand that the earth is transitioning, our society is transitioning, and we as individuals are transitioning, our lives will not seem so meaningless. But stop blaming, stop judging. Turn off the TV. You have plenty hours of the day to go and do something else while we are transitioning. Ask yourself, what else would I like to learn right now? Instead of watching TV and complaining that you don't have love in your life, or that you are single, or that nobody likes you. Go and mingle with people. The people do not have to be a lover. They can just be people, they can just be friends. Of course, lovers are people. What I mean is, they don't have to be someone that says, I only want to be with you. Nothing else matters. It's just me and you against the world. I swear, as soon as shooting becomes legal, I will personally come after you. So, for this one, I can only recommend to get out there and keep doing things. Or keep telling yourself, it's okay, we are transitioning. So let's get ready for the new. And the easiest way to get ready for what is coming is to not be so fanatic about what they taught you, what your parents taught you, what school taught you, and what television is trying to teach you. Be a little loose with your beliefs. And that way, the new beliefs that are coming will find room to come in to your into your brain, into your mind. And then life will not be so meaningless. But don't expect to just sit back and push a button and all of a sudden life becomes meaningful. That's not going to happen. It won't. It's a process. It will happen slowly, and every day you will find more and more meaning simply because you will see the bigger picture. Right now, we just cannot see the entire picture yet. I will leave it at this.